This car that we used is a 1971 Chevelle SS 454, 4-speed, bench seat, no air car, factory. It's still that way. Over time, I've done some upgrades to it and whatnot, but I've known this car since I was probably 10 years old. It's one of the first hot rods I ever really got to ride in. A gentleman named Tom Stinnett owned it. He's a really good friend of my dad's. My dad owned the local shop there in Ellick. Just kind of a two-bay hometown mechanic. By the time I knew him, he was kind of up in age, and he kind of took me in like a grandpa. He'd bring the car over, get it inspected, or like I said, tinkered with, and we'd go for rides in it. And it was just a blast every time he came over. It kind of progressed into the hot rod mentality that I had and love over time. He pretty much taught me how to drag race. My dad built me a 80 model step-side Chevrolet pickup whenever I turned 15, I think we got it. We went to the local track with it, Thunder Valley, and Tom taught me how to stage. He taught me how to, stall it, like everything about how to drag race, the guy taught me. So he passes away, and his wife ends up selling all of his hot rods. It disappears. Nobody knows where it went. Nobody knows. A few years later, my dad stumbles upon it, calls me up, says, "Hey, you're not going to believe what I'm looking at. It's Tom's car. It's the Chevelle." So me and Lacey load up, go out there, check it out. Sure enough, it's it. I made the guy an offer. Basically asked him what he wanted for it. He told me, and I bought it. I wasn't trying to haggle him. I wanted the car. Since we got it, I did my touches on it. I did my upgrades on it. We changed the suspension up a little bit. I went through the 4-speed, but didn't know much about it. So we didn't do too many upgrades to it. Changed the motor up twice now. I built just a standard 454 for it. It made pretty good power, 500 horsepower or so. We took it to a local engine builder and dynoed it. Made what I thought it was going, what I was happy with. But it didn't last too long. I was pretty hard on that no deal. So had a solid roller in it. It was just it wasn't exactly street friendly. And I wasn't very nice to it, to be honest. So ended up tearing that engine up. And then we built the motor that's in it now. What it is now, it's a 489 cubic inch Procharged big block Chevy. We put a D1X blower on it. It's got a hydraulic roller cam in it now. Kind of kept it down on compression so I can run 91 octane. I put a sniper system on it from Holley. Once we got that thing dialed in, it's been a fun hot rod. I mean, we take it to any cruise that we know is coming up that we get to do in Lindsay or Oklahoma City or Mustang or more. We've taken it quite a few places. We drive it down to the mountains in Lawton. Just any opportunity that we get to take it out, cruise it, go on dates, whatever, we hop in it and go. It does still have the 4-speed in it. Everybody has kind of had a lot of reactions from the show on it having a 4-speed in it. And to be honest, I wasn't crazy about putting it on the show. It was basically all I had that I could put on the show per, the style of cars that they wanted on it. I love getting to showcase it. It's cool, but it's pretty much one of them deals that's irreplaceable to me. So we started using it. It's not ideal anymore, 4-speeds are, they have their place. It's fun, it's cool, it's nostalgic. But I did everything I could without doing any huge modifications to the car to get it to work on the show. And it did, and did well. I'm very pleased with how it performed. I've never raced this car in competition. I've taken it to Thunder Valley one time in Armageddon, and I didn't even really want to race it then. and I think I can't even remember exactly what happened, but it just didn't have a good performance. I'll just say that. So I've never really tried to race this car. It's never had slicks on it before. The night that we showed up and raced TJ for the first night of filming was literally the first time I ever dumped the clutch on a set of slicks on this thing. And it looks like I was really late on the light, but man, that thing's got a long pedal, and you know, it just took a little while to react. So once it started pulling in first gear, I started really gaining ground on him. I mean, the car makes good power, which always scares me with the 4-speed and the 12 bolt in it and everything, because there's a weak link there. I just ain't found exactly what it is, but I know it's that tranny, and those trannies are damn near impossible to find anymore. That's why people rave about them, you know, about being there's better transmissions out there, but that thing is just, for its time, it was the shit, man. I mean, so it's just one of them deals where I probably need to put a different tranny in it. We abused the shit out of it this season. So for the nostalgia factor, it goes with the car, you know, and so I said, fuck it, let's just race it the way it is. I mean, like I said, put slicks on it. That was kind of a change for it. I tweaked the suspension the best I could. I raised the front end up to get the crank as high as I could, threw some weight in the trunk a little bit. Like, I just tried to do whatever I could with what I had to make it work for the time. So, and we did just that. Like, once we got the car kind of dialed in, I mean, it hooked and it went. That son of a bitch was fun. So, I mean, it surprised a lot of people. I'll say that. It did surprise a lot. Hell, it surprised me. Probably one of my fondest memories ever growing up was with Tom showing up one day with it. Actually, we went to his house. Me and my dad went to his house to kind of help him tinker with something or I couldn't remember exactly what we were over there for. But he's like, hey, let's go take a ride in the Chevelle. So we do. Dad's big ass gets in the back seat. You know, he's on both floorboards sprawled out. Tom's pretty good sized dude, you know, and I'm a 12-year-old kid sitting up front, taking down the road, you know, probably 2 or 3 miles, let it warm up, get everything good and warmed up, spin it around, and Tom's, you know, he's looking through his gears a little bit, and I'm talking, he's probably 80s at this time, and he just had terrible eyesight. Looks at me, asks if there's anything coming, and I know what's about to happen. I look back at Dad, terrified. Dad's just like, nope, let her, you know, cut her loose. And holy shit, we went for a ride in that thing. I mean, he's banging every gear in that thing, and it was just one of them deals where I didn't feel scared at all. Like, the dude had it under control the whole time. He's been driving that thing for, you know, 10, 20 years or whatever. It was just, it just kind of takes you back to, you know, probably the days that he did it before, you know, when he was in his 20s and 30s and shit, and really doing a lot of racing back then. So, you know, that was pretty wild. I'll never forget him saying that. And then, you know, once we bought it, purchased it, Lacey and I, you know, introducing her to the whole hot rod scene with it. We've always had kind of some cool hot rods and shit in the past, and race cars, but that's nothing that she can really enjoy with me other than going to the races with me and stuff. But so to get her in something like this and really be, you know, going to these cruises and showing off, or, you know, having a good time in it, like, that's been a really cool bonding experience for me and her and Bryson, the girls. So, you know, we've had a lot of good times in it. So that's been having it in the family per se has been a joy. So I've had tons of offers on the car. You know, it's not even anything that I've really considered selling. So there's even been some pop-up since the airing of the first show. So, you know, it would just take some sort of special deal for me to ever have to part ways with this car. It's like I said, it's been in the family for 10 years now. It's something that I would love to see, you know, Bryson, you know, get to drive one day or something, maybe take to prom or something, you know, that was pretty cool. So to give you a little further look into the car, I'm gonna show you guys around it. From where we started whenever we got it, it was just a built 454 from probably 88 or 89. Whenever I started rebuilding the engine, like I said, this was probably the first set of aluminum heads I ever seen. I called Brodex, gave them the serial number and everything, and they were dated, I think, 1988 or 1989. So, and to be honest, I really didn't want to get away from those heads. I actually reused those heads. We just kind of cleaned them up a little bit. And I made a little bit more room for the intercooler and radiator, but I didn't want to start cutting anything up too much. Still got the inner fenders in it and everything. It's a 454 4-bolt main block. It is not the original numbers matching block. Like I said, we use those Brodex heads again. Put a hydraulic roller cam in it. I think the ESP coated crank from Eagle. Can't remember exactly what rods we used. Mall pistons. It's got a D1X Procharger on it. Like I said, the intercooler, and then we used the Holley Super Sniper system. And it's worked pretty fucking flawlessly. Like, that thing's pretty legit. I had my doubts about it actually, because I've never really had anything fuel injected, so I wanted to try this deal, and it starts right up.
So this is pretty much a daily. I mean, if you wanted to be.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah. We live probably 40 miles from Oklahoma City, and anytime they have cruises or anything like that, like, we take this up there, we drive it up there. I've drove it to Wilburton. That's fucking, what, 2 hours away?
2.5, yeah.
2.5 hours away. Like, I mean, I put a killer radiator in this thing. I cannot remember how to pronounce the name of the company. We'll post it, but
so it stays pretty cool.
Yeah, I talked to Gene at Quartermax, and they had a drop-in radiator for this thing with dual fans, and it fixed the problem. Like, we had a little bit of overheat issues because that damn intercooler is so big.
Right.
It's air-to-air that when I called him and asked him about the radiator, I took it to Donovan Bashford, and he made the brackets and everything for it where we didn't have to cut everything up. It's real close to the pulley, but man, it fit in here almost damn near perfect. And these fans are so legit. I think they're 1600 CFM a piece, and that radiator has done the trick, hands down.
I bet those fans are loud as shit when they come on.
Loud. Like, you can feel them at the back of the car pushing, like,
wow,
that air pushing through. It's got 2-inch primary tube stainless works headers, and then the stainless works X pipe in it, and then we did Borla XR1s for the exhaust. It's all 3.5 inch from the collector. It's pretty throaty. Like, this thing's pretty damn loud. Did a McLeod clutch, and I had the M22 gone through. Like I said, we didn't do many mods or upgrades to that. I don't really even know what the hell you can do, but I recently talked to the owner of RPM Transmissions, and he's talking about wanting to go through it. He says he's got a killer Muncie guy, and I'm looking forward to sending it to them and seeing, you know, what we can do with it. I almost want to leave it in, but it would be cool to go probably to one of those, like, TKX transmissions or something like that. We upgraded the suspension on it. It's got all QA1 suspension, bolt-in style, Willwood brakes. It rides like a goddamn dream. Like, this thing rides really, really good. Anybody that I've ever took for a ride in it just compliments how well this thing rides. It's lowered a little bit. I got sway bars front and back now, coilovers front and back. We recently did that right before we knew we were going to shoot with it. Interior's all original. Like, I mean, as far as the type, I put Dakota digital gauges in it. We upgraded the stereo system. You know, it's got the Hurst shifter. I did put a new headliner in it because the one that was in it wasn't, you know, the best, and I wanted that new look to it.
Right.
So,
but that's you know, that's just upkeep on a car that's old.
Yeah, for sure. And I also think I put the a new carpet in the front because it has a split section in here.
Right.
I think Tom did these seats maybe this way. I can't, you know, I don't remember who did the seats.
Did this normally come with like a bench style, or?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a factory bench car. It just didn't have this pattern in it.
Oh,
and
okay.
At some point in time, he may have changed this, but I just left it, you know. So
that can give you whiplash right there, being you have like a tiny
my head
headrest.
sits up here.
Yeah. So whenever you dump it, your neck rolls into here, your head goes back there, and that's what gives you whiplash.
Yeah. This right here is a line lock. It's not nitrous or anything like that. I've been asked about it being nitrous and some shit.
What does a line lock do exactly?
It locks up your front brakes so you can do wicked burnouts. To be honest, with the clutch and everything, I've never really been able to master that. That's something I need to practice at. But I haven't because I'm scared I'm gonna tear up the car, to be honest. So
You can always fix it.
oh yeah. It's got the original vinyl top on it. It hasn't been changed. The paint hasn't been changed. It's still the factory paint as far as I know. Like I said, Tom passed away, so I'm not exactly sure. I think they, no, I don't think they've ever painted it. It's still all original paint. When I got it, it had an auxiliary fuel system in the rear, and I think he ran race gas in it. And once he started, if he took it to the track or whatever, flip a switch, and this electric fuel pump would take over the mechanical, and he could race gas. And that was from the 80s.
So you could just pull up and pump gas.
Yeah, turn on your electric, and it would override the manual fuel pump and run race gas through the engine.
Wow.
So he did that. When I got it, I wanted a cool stereo system in it, so I took it down to Vic's garage here in Chickasha. He built the box for it custom.
Oh yeah. So you got your amps back there.
It's still got the 12 volt in it. We did C-clip eliminators. I put all strange axles and gears and wheel wood brakes on it. And it's held up just fine. I mean, I had any issues with it. It blows tires off, all the time. Just doing cool rolling burnouts and shit like that. It's like I said, it's just something that we put together that the family could enjoy. People like to look at it. You get thumbs up everywhere. It's a fucking blast to drive. That's what it comes down to.
So I'm assuming we've got some fans out there. Are you accepting any street call outs?
No, absolutely not. I'm not a fan of racing this car. People get in the moment. They get very competitive, and shit happens out there. And I told the guys then, if something happens to this car, I'm not sure how I'm gonna act. Like, I'm scared to death something's gonna happen to this car. So that's the way I raced this season with this car is, oh my God, I've got to either get way out on them and keep them away from me or something, because I just don't trust people out there. It's a 71 Chevelle SS, and that's what it is, but it means way more than that to me. So, I just kept it out there.
So you're not accepting any 91 Fox body shit boxes to come up and say, hey, let's go, Damon.
Yeah, I'll find another race car eventually for some shit like that. But catch me at a car show, you want to come check it out, whatever. Cool. I'm down with that for sure. I mean, coffee and cars, we do that.
Yep.
We're gonna try to hit some ones in the metro area, but we always do, try to do the one in Chickasha when the weather's good. I'm kind of a fair weather kind of person. I don't like fucking cold and stuff, so I just like cruising around with my buddies and stuff. Russell, you got a badass little Cadillac. It's fun to cruise.
It's in the shop.
But stuff like that's cool. We've always had just hot rods that we can drive around, and this has been my let's go out, let's cruise, let's go have a good time, or let's go have let's take a fun car out on a date, kind of deal. So,
right.
That's what this is to us. It's a family member at this point. I mean, it sounds weird, but when you're a gearhead and you live that life, like, it is what it is. So for me, tell you guys this has pretty much been in my family forever, or we've been a part of it. There's the original
Owner's manual. Okay, so this is mom's inspection sticker from 93, 96, 99. So there's a few there. I thought I had more than that, but those are, you know, my mom's actual inspection sticker. Actually, that's dad, that's dad, and that's mom. So mom did it in 99, and that's the inspection sticker that's actually still on the car. So, you know, like I said, I've known this car forever. It was cool to actually get my hands on it, you know, and I don't plan on it going anywhere. But this is Dumplin. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, I hope it answers any questions that you may have. If you have any more questions, hit me up. You know, I'm pretty much an open book at this point, and I'll show you whatever. So, thanks guys.